I guess this kind of thing is just in your blood. But you won't catch me carving up my love. I ain't a puzzle piece that needs to fit. If it takes more than me, let's call it quits. Because I don't want to go on with you like that. Don't want to be a feather in your cap. I just want to tell you, honey, I ain't mad, but I ain't going to go on with you like that. Okay, so today on Asking Aquarius, we'll be talking about cheaters and how I ain't going on with them like that. I don't know about you guys, but no. And today's cheaters are cheaters with sex addictions. So it took me a little bit longer actually to that's why I didn't do this I didn't do these yesterday. I was going to do these videos yesterday, but I had to get a little bit more information on cheaters and addiction. So let's do the introduction, and then I'm going to tell you all the stuff that I found. I'm Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Asking Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, pass it on to anybody and everybody, and drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And if you have time, please stick around because I'm going to read 2 of my favorite comments from previous videos. And one of them could actually be yours. If you would like to get a reading done, please email me. If you would like to talk to me on social media, everything is underneath this video, so check me out, okay? Also, my Patreon and my Amazon wish list and my PayPal are underneath the video too, in case you want to give me a gift or send me a love donation or join us on Patreon, where I do my Magical Minute series once a week. All right, so yeah, let's talk about this cheating. So I've talked about cheating from a number of different angles, and I still got one more to do. So this week we're talking about cheating because of a sex addiction. Not because you think it's okay, not because of any other reason, but specifically because you have a sex addiction. So the first problem I had was that I couldn't figure out what was the difference between a cheater and a person with a sex addiction. Because there is a difference, but it was kind of blurry. The line was kind of blurry. But the more I read about it, the more it became clear. A person who is just a straight up cheater, they are a selfish person who just doesn't care. They use people for their body, basically. You know, the sex is just something that they're using them for. They don't care about this person. Some of the doctors that I saw called them soul destroyers. Like, they don't even care enough about you not to do things that are going to harm you. A lot of people are in relationships with this type of person, and it's really detrimental. So that's a regular old cheater. They just don't care. They're selfish. They want to get sex, and they're going to do what they're going to do without giving you or anybody else a second thought. Now, those who are sex addicts, the problem with them is that just like a drug addict, just like an alcoholic, just like a gambler, just like a kleptomaniac, they have a compulsion. Let me read you the definition. It says sex addiction, also known as sexual addiction, is a state characterized by compulsive participation or engagement in sexual activity, particularly sexual intercourse, despite negative consequences. So this person has a compulsion. So they can control themselves just the same way like the cheater can control themselves. But it's that much more difficult because sex has become their drug. Okay? So it's not just the selfish pursuit. They have, in some cases, a physical, like some of the people that I read about had a physical need. Because remember, when you have sex, your body produces all of these hormones and, you know, things that come out of nowhere. And this person is addicted to them. So they have to keep on having sex to get their high. And some of them, it wasn't physical. Some of them, it was psychological. Like, their reasoning was psychological more so than physical. But either way, it is their high. So they have to keep on chasing the high. And anybody who gets high on anything, if you get high on caffeine, if you get high on alcohol, whatever you get high on, you have to keep engaging to keep getting high. So if sex is your drug, you have to keep on engaging with your partner to keep getting high. And when your partner's not around, or when somebody offers you sex, that compulsion, that like, think about a person who's OCD and they just can't help but clean. That's what the feeling is going to be like. So it's going to be that much stronger. Whatever we feel when we're aroused or when we want to have sex, their feeling is going to be that much stronger. They have an actual medical diagnosis, So it's like they have a hard time. It's like a vampire smelling blood in the air, So this person might not even want to cheat. This person might want to be, monogamous, but they lack that ability to be able to turn someone down. Or if they need their drug, they might do something like go to the bathroom and please themselves at work. I've known people who had a sex addiction who please themselves in places you shouldn't be pleasing yourself in. This one person was a woman, as a matter of fact, and she had a strong sexual addiction. And she told me that she would find herself at work. Now, she was a home healthcare aide, okay? So she would find herself at work putting her client to sleep so she could pleasure herself in the bathroom. Now, if your sexual addiction is so bad that you can't even wait 8 hours till you get home from work, a lot of times that's something that really needs to be treated. So that's the difference between the low down, dirty, cheater and the sex addict. So some people are, just straight up cheaters. And according to the literature, some of them have this really bad compulsion. Now, the ones who are sex addicts, it says here, they can actually be treated. And they can be taught coping mechanisms, just like a drug addict, just like a gambler, just like an alcoholic. They can be taught coping mechanisms to help them be successful, but they need treatment just like any of those other ones. Because they have to, first of all, find out what causes their sex addiction. Is it physical? Is it psychological? Is it spiritual? Like, where does it come from? They said some people who have no spiritual foundation find themselves filling that hole in them with sex or with, pleasing themselves. Some of them, it's because they, have been introduced to porn too early in life. It's a whole bunch of different reasons why this happens to a person. So according to the experts, they said this person has to figure out, why are they like this? Why is this in their blood? And get it out. Coping mechanisms, healing, whatever the case is, and that's going to help them be able to be successful in a relationship. But until they're treated, most of them are going to cheat. And like I said before, it's not even always intentional. Some of them that I watched some of their stories on YouTube. Some of them were so upset. They were just crying. They've ruined relationships. They've contracted STDs. They've had kids out of wedlock or lost, visitation of their kids. Remember, it said negative consequences. So no matter how negative the consequences are from the sexual activities, they cannot stop. So even after they catch a disease, or if they catch a bunch of kids, or whatever happens, they can't stop themselves. They need help. They need treatment. There's also some people who need to be medicated because remember we talked about how the body creates these hormones. They said that some of those hormones the body creates in other ways, and some of them you can take actual medicine to balance out that, so you won't need to get it from there. So there are a lot of different things you can do about it, but first you have to identify what it is and if it's a sex addiction. Because one of the things that the top guy, the top, lead, in the field of sex addiction said was that some people think they're sex addicted and they're just cheaters. And he was like, you have to figure out the difference between the two. Because if you're just a cheater, then that's your character. That's who you are as a person. And you can change that too. You can work on that too. But if it's a chemical addiction or if it's another kind of addiction, psychological or something like that, you really are going to need a totally different kind of treatment, a different kind of, coping mechanisms. It's two different things. And he also said that it's very difficult for sex addicts to be faithful even when they want to be, and they have, a lot of them live like double lives, he said. A lot of them are like hiding porn from their wives or from their husbands. And he said women and men can become sex addicts, but it's more likely to be a man because a lot of the sex industry is catered towards men. So it's more likely to be a man, but women get just as addicted. And he said some of them don't actually have intercourse, male and female. Some of them just are constantly pleasing themselves and just can't get enough of that, So I just wanted to put this out there because the person who asked me about cheating was asking me, are there different reasons for cheating? And this is just yet another reason why somebody would cheat who actually might not even want to cheat, but they don't know what else to do. They haven't figured that out. And I feel like it's up to them. Even if it's a sex addiction, I don't care why you're cheating. I don't care what the reason is, because we still have one more reason to go through. I don't care what the reason is. The experts still say it's up to you to identify it and get treatment for it. So if you're cheating because you know that or you think you even might think you have a sex addiction, it's up to you to find out. It's up to you to get diagnosed. It's up to you to let somebody look at you and see what is the deal, and not use it, if you're not really addicted. Don't just be a cheater talking about, oh, I got a sex addiction. No, you don't. Like, really know for sure that that's your diagnosis, because it's two totally different things depending on which one it is. So yeah, some people, most people who have a sex addiction will cheat. Most of them will lie. Most of them will have a double life. Some of them will do other things such as pleasing themselves or using porn as to not go to another person. But he said it was a case-by-case basis, and many of them, if not most of them, do have affairs. And some of them, that's how they find out that they have the addiction, because when they went for treatment or couples therapy or something like that, they found out that they just could not stop. They just could not control themselves, no matter how hard they tried. And they ended up in bad consequences and bad situations and still could not control themselves. So they need treatment. So let's take a look at some positive comments now that we got that done. Adidas 211. Adidas, they used to say when we were kids that it stood for all day I dream about sex. When we were in 4th grade, that was like our thing. Like, oh, that's what Adidas means, y'all. It was one of those urban legends. Adidas said, oh my God, so true. My half-sister is January Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius Pisces cusp. It's so toxic. I can't say hello. I can say hello and get cussed out. Yeah, these are the Aquarius rivals I was talking about last week. So I just wouldn't say much to her. I would be polite and keep it moving. That's one thing I've learned about life. Be polite and keep it moving. We ain't got to argue. It ain't got to be nasty. I ain't got to cuss you out. Just, okay, and just keep it moving. Farida, I think it's Farida Hanny. I hope I said that right. Farida Hanny said, I absolutely love to watch your videos. Frida, thank you so much. And by the way, guys, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, because I've noticed that a lot of people that watch the channel aren't subscribed. So please subscribe, because I want you to stick around and I want you to see everything that's going to be coming in the next year to come here at Ask an Aquarius. I'm making plans now for 2021, and I would like you to be here. Okay? All right, guys. Come back soon, because I got a lot more to say. See you later.